Dr. Stephen Chu, ministers of energy from various parts of the world, Shri Montek Singh Ahluwalia, Deputy Chairman, Planning Commission of India, distinguished guests. I am very pleased to inaugurate this fourth Clean Energy Ministerial in New Delhi. This is the first time this ministerial meeting has been convened in India. I take this opportunity to welcome all the participating ministers and members of their delegations, and also the representatives of international organizations, the private sector, and non-governmental organizations participating in this important meeting. Ladies and gentlemen, the search for clean energy is extremely important for two reasons. First, energy is both scarce and expensive, and yet it is vital for development. If developing countries are to meet their developmental objectives, they have to expand all sources of supply, including both conventional and non-conventional energy. Second, clean energy is especially important because it can progressively substitute for fossil fuel-based energy, which brings with it the collateral damage associated with emissions of CO2 and other greenhouse gases. Greater use of clean energy obviously contributes to sustainability of the development process, and this issue will become more important in years that lie ahead. Developing countries account for 82% of the world's population, and they use 55% of the available global supply of energy. They must aim at faster growth of their GDP to improve the living standards of their populations, and this will entail an expanded demand for energy. If they follow the industrialized countries in meeting their energy requirements through fossil fuel-based energy, we know that the impact on the global climate change would be simply unsustainable. This poses a global challenge. We can only meet the challenge by responding in two ways. First, we must contain the total growth in energy associated with the growth of GDP by improving energy efficiency. Second, we can work to shift from conventional to non-conventional or clean energy. Both actions help to mitigate emissions and both involve costs. But the costs are borne by the country taking the action, whereas the benefits extend to the whole world. An optimal level of mitigation on the part of all countries can come only through globally coordinated actions. An acceptable global energy strategy must also be based on equitable sharing of the burden of mitigation and adjustment. Friends, on any principles of equity, the industrialized countries have to bear a large share of the burden. They are historically responsible for the bulk of the accumulated GHG emissions, and this alone suggests a greater responsibility. They also have high per capita incomes, which give them the highest capacity to bear the burden. They are technically the most advanced and to that extent best placed to provide workable solutions not only for themselves but for the entire world. These issues have been in focus of intense discussion in the climate change negotiation being conducted under the auspices of the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change. Unfortunately, progress in these negotiations is painfully slow. The goal of stabilizing global temperatures at acceptable levels is nowhere in sight. However, while we must work to ensure that the UN Framework Convention process reaches some acceptable outcome, individual countries have to take action to increase energy efficiency and also promote clean energy. There is need for inter-country consultation and discussion in these areas to promote information exchange and to identify possible areas of collaboration, and also to learn from each other's experience in addressing common problems. The Clean Energy Ministerial has made a major contribution to such discussions. The initiative for launching the ministerial was taken by Dr. Stephen Chu, US Energy Secretary. Dr. Chu, a very distinguished Nobel laureate, has announced his intention to return to academic life. We are therefore fortunate in having him with us today, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank him for his contribution and to wish him well for the future. I have no doubt that he will continue to contribute to evolving a consensus on the important issues which the CEM has been grappling with.